What's up, you guys? So, I just wanted to come on here. It's something that's near and dear to my heart that I just want to come on here and talk about. And, this is the time of the year. We're at the end of the year. This is, like they say, the most happiest time of the year, like the greatest time of the year, like best time of the year. The holidays. You about to eat all this food. You about to see family and friends. You
Mm-hmm.
about to just have a blast. The weather is nice and cool. The trees are orange and reds and all these beautiful colors. And, you got so much to be thankful for. We're about to get ready to go into a new year. You got all of these holidays where families come together, everybody cook and eat, where friends come together, holiday parties, you got corporate parties, you got end of the year stuff happening. So much is going on, and sometimes we can forget some of the things that's very important. At the end of the year, you got the holidays, you eating, you may gain weight, from eating all this food and cakes and pies and donuts and all this other stuff you have at work. Look, all this stuff, all this food, all this joy and all of this, like just having a good time and just about to wrap the year up, and then now we about to get ready to go into 26. Like, it's about to be Thanksgiving, then we got Christmas, then we got New Year's, and we all can be so wrapped up in that. And you got, like I said, I'm back in corporate America now, so you got Christmas parties, you got donuts, you got ho-hos, you got all of this stuff going on. You got Secret Santa, you got all of this different stuff. And so sometimes we can forget some of those small things, which may not be that small. And so I just want to come on here and remind everybody about, even though all of that stuff is going on that I just mentioned, all this joy and all this other stuff, and festivities and holidays and eating and all of this, there's still the other opposite side of it, where there's a lot of people out here who have lost loved ones, who have lost family members that are near and dear to their hearts. People who, while other people are out here about to, spend time with their mom, their dad, their uncles, their aunts, their cousin and them, Ray Ray and them, Pookie and them, Shaquita and them, all them, and you about to eat and have fun. This one over here gonna be drinking, the other one over here gonna be making eggnog. You got all that family stuff, and you got all that stuff at work going on. At the same time, there's still people out here who, this time of the year when the holidays come, they get depressed.
Mm-hmm.
They get sad. They get lonely. They don't want to, they kind of isolate themselves. They don't want to be around anybody. And they kind of isolate themselves. And why? Because they've lost all these same people that you about to spend time with, that you and I may be about to, eat with or something. Everybody's family has different dynamics. Everybody's family have their own different dynamics, and that's just true. That's just the truth. And so you may have these families that get together and do all this stuff. You may have other families that don't get together, or you may have families that some of them, link up and then don't have anything to do with the others. It's all of these different family dynamics, and that's all well and good, to each his own. Everybody got to answer to God. That's all I say. But at the end of the day, there are still people out here who have lost loved ones, and who, while we out here having comfort and joy, some people may be sad and depressed. They may be lonely. They may not have anybody that they can spend a day with, or spend the holiday with, or spend the night, or spend the weekend. They may be lonely and depressed. They may be thinking about a loved one who they lost, or a friend who they lost, or a family member who they lost, or sometimes it's a pet that they lost. Again, to each his own. But at the end of the day, we have to put ourselves in somebody else's shoes, and we want to do unto others as we will have them do unto us. And there are people out here who, may have lost a spouse, may have lost a parent, may have lost a child, may have lost a pet, whatever the situation is with them. This is the holidays, and this is the time of the year where it's colder outside, it's cooler. You can tell that everything is changing because you can look outside, the trees are changing. Like everything is reminding you that there's a change going on, but then in your life, you may feel like there's not a change going on. You may feel like, depressed because you've lost loved ones and other people, or you may just feel sad around this time of the year. I don't know what it is, but it's this time of the year that sometimes in the winter time, and then it gets dark earlier, and sometimes people just get depressed. So the reason I'm bringing all this up is not to put a damper on your holiday or a damper on, the peace and joy and comfort and joy and all of this stuff that you have going on that you're enjoying with your family. But just want to put a little small reminder out there that don't forget to show love and compassion, and don't forget to smile and say hello to a stranger. Don't forget, if it's a coworker, that they've lost loved ones, don't forget to drop them a note, give them a hug, do something compassionate, because there's people out here around this time of year, around holidays, that gets very depressed. And a lot of times when people get depressed, they go inward, and so they kind of withdraw. And so, find somebody that you can just tell, if we can just have that human frailty, and we can just have some discernment and just some natural common sense that we can have, that we can use, and we can start just looking, paying close attention, start being more cognizant of, start noticing, people's behavior, and see if they seem a little bit more sad, or if they seem a little bit more withdrawn. And then maybe that's God showing you that, so you can, do something nice. I'm going to drop down here. I'm going to drop down some little suggestions of things that you can maybe do, little kind gestures or little small things that maybe can make people feel good or can uplift somebody. Also, there's some people out here that are, you may think it's like a really easy thing or a simple thing, or, just something that's like it's the norm, that people are going to have people or family members or friends that they can go eat Thanksgiving with, or they can go spend Christmas with or something. But it's people out here that just don't have that. They don't have anyone that they can eat Thanksgiving with, or they can visit with for Thanksgiving, or, that they can spend time with for Christmas, or that they're being invited to all these different things. We don't want to just assume that people have somewhere that they can go. Even if it's a coworker or, someone that a friend or something, or a neighbor or something, like, don't just assume that people that they can go and spend a Thanksgiving dinner with, or that they can, go have, like I said, Christmas with, that's not always there, And we need to start stepping back and paying more close attention to people and people's spirit and their energy. And, if they seem like they depressed, or if they seem withdrawn, if they seem a little bit sadder, or if they seem different, not upbeat like they normally are. Pay attention. God wants you to see that, so that you can pay attention and be cognizant of that, so that, possibly you can invite that person over. Kind of gone are the days when back in the day when we would invite people over, and stuff like love. I'm always joking. I'm always kind of high energy unless I'm just exhausted, which I'm exhausted right now. But, at the same time, the reason I bring that up, because you never know who may need a friend, who may need somebody to reach out to them, who may need somebody to show them some love, who may need to be invited into your home to be, to partake of the energy that you have in your home. Somebody who may be depressed or sad, or may have lost loved ones and stuff like that. So, just wanted to come on here and make a video, because I know around this time of year, a lot of people get very sad, very depressed, very, lonely. And then I think we just kind of assume that people got somewhere to go. Don't ever assume, because like my old pastor always say, assumption is the lowest form of knowledge, because assumption, when you assume something, you really don't know. You just thinking That's what assumption is. That's pretty much what it means. So, even if you bake, if you somebody who bake like me, I know how to cook, bake, all that. I know how to do all of that. So, if you are a person who knows how to bake cakes or bake cookies, sometimes it's something as simple as just don't even, just kind of in conversation, ask somebody, girl, my favorite cake. And then they'll tell you, what's your favorite cake? Just a small little light conversation. And then, you use that to, okay, I'm going to make them, they said they like a lemon pound cake, so I'm going to make that for them. And I'm going to surprise them with that. Something like that. It's very small things that we can do to sow seeds into other people because, again, around this time of the year, a lot of people get lonely, they get depressed, they're trying to figure out even where they're gonna go eat for Thanksgiving or where they're gonna eat for Christmas. And I'm not saying it's anybody's responsibility to do that, because when you do stuff for people, you want it to be in your heart to do it. You want to be self-motivated to do it because it'll come from a good place and come from your heart. But I'm just saying, be cognizant of it, because sometimes people may be depressed if this is just the time of the year where everybody's hyped up and happy and, enjoying festivities and all that stuff I named. But at the end of the day, there's the other side, the flip side of it, where people have lost loved ones and, they've lost people in their lives, which I'm in that situation. I, lost my 4 siblings and both of my parents. But my husband and I, we kind of on the same kind of mindset. Like, we really similar, he and I, in a lot of ways. Like, we both have very strong work ethics, and we'll work like, we'll work. We don't know when to stop. We have strong work ethics like that. We have that in common. And we're pretty grounded, in a lot of different things. We have a lot of similarities. And so, like, he wanted to take me out of town for Thanksgiving, but I'm like, I'm way too exhausted to go out of town. He'll spend money, but I'm really frugal. So for me, it's, I would love to go out of town, but I'm too exhausted. So to me, when it comes to money, I'm going to be thinking about, okay, is this wise? And to me, it don't make any sense for us to go out of town, rent an Airbnb, rent a car, and go somewhere out of town when I'm exhausted, just to lay and we're in this Airbnb wherever we go, and then just lay there and be exhausted when I could just be exhausted at home for free. So I'm like, let's just go somewhere for in the springtime, maybe like March or something. Let me recoup. Plus, I got so much stuff to do. I got to re-up my soap and make more soap and get more soap on the website and stuff like that. And so I just wanted to come on here and just remind everyone, just don't forget, to show love and support. Be kind to your neighbor. Just the main basic foundational things that we learn when we are young. And, check with people and see what they're doing for Thanksgiving. If it's someone who, they say they're not going anywhere, they don't have anywhere to go for Thanksgiving or for Christmas or for whatever holiday, it could be some holidays next year. Just check with people. You know what I'm saying? Just check on people. Same thing you would want somebody to do for you.
Thank you.
Because when you check with people, sometimes they may not have nowhere to go. They may be sitting in the house depressed. They may have lost friends or loved ones. And this is the time where you could have lost loved ones years and years ago. But still, something about the holidays that just bring it back up to remembrance. So please be kind to people and be compassionate. And even if you can't invite people over because you're not even going to be in your own home, you're going to be somewhere else, just offer, maybe you can make them a cake like I just said, or maybe you can offer to buy them a meal, a Thanksgiving meal, whatever the case may be. It's all kind of things that God can do to use you. And sometimes it's just a meal. Of course, people want to be around other people. But if all the seed that you can sow is ordering them some kind of small meal from, Publix or Costco for the holidays, for Thanksgiving, or honey baked ham or something like that, or Kroger, every store, Walmart be having like Thanksgiving meals that you can order, just order it for 2 or 4 or whatever. Just bless the person with that. So at least you'll know in your heart that at least that person had a holiday meal. Like, you guys, it's all kind of ways we can do it. It's all kind of ways we can work it. It's all kind of ways we can sow a seed. So don't forget, that, we never know what situation we can be in and what we may need some support, some extra love, some extra compassion. We may be in that situation at a point in our life. So don't forget to show a kind gesture. Again, I'm going to drop some stuff down below. Just, some suggestions or maybe some little small things you can do. Even gift cards or something like that, or a card, just a card, just something small. Just stop by a person's house, take them that cake or a flower or a plant, just something to see a smile on a person's face, because they are going to be reminded when they're sad and depressed. They're going to be reminded hey, Miss Smith did this for me. Ray stopped by here and gave me this. Miss Lucille, she made me a pound cake, and I didn't even know she was coming over here, and she stopped it by my house, and she had it wrapped up so pretty, and that thing smelled so good. Do something like that. Do something nice and kind, a kind gesture. Don't forget the compassion that should come around this time of year. So anyway, you guys, just want to come on here. This was in my spirit to do this. It's early in the morning. I don't even know what time it is, but it's early. I think 3 or something, 4. I don't even think it's 4. But anyway, just wanted to come on here and just say, be patient with people. Be compassionate towards people. Doing to others as you would have them do unto you. And do a kind gesture. Find at least 1 or 2 people that you can do a kind gesture for. Or even more if you're led to do more, but do a kind gesture for this person or these people, from now until the end of the year with the holiday season, because they may be depressed, lonely, or anything. They may not even have anywhere they can go eat for Thanksgiving. They may not be invited, Long time ago back in the day, you already knew before Thanksgiving came, you already knew where you were going to be, what you was going to eat, where you was going to go, all of that, But now, our family dynamics are different. Now there's a lot of people who, may not have anywhere to go. They may be lonely. They may be depressed. This is just the time of year for that as well. So anyway, just want to remind you guys of that. Thanks so much for listening. I appreciate you. Thanks for listening. Peace and blessings to you all. Happy holidays for you all. Feliz Navidad, all that good stuff. So don't forget to be patient and compassionate with people. So thanks so much for listening. Peace and blessings.